Well, welcome everybody to this magnificent day. I really appreciate this day because there's something special about it. Do you know why? It's the best day ever. Oh my God, you knew. How did you know? Oh, I love that. It is the best day ever, and I haven't said that on during my talk in a while, but it's always good for me to recognize that today is the best day ever because today is the only day that you have. Today is the only opportunity you have to live. You could be in your head living in the past or living in the future, and what's really happening right now is this moment. And whatever is happening in this moment is perfect exactly as it is. Being okay with that is where our work comes in. It doesn't always feel that way. Or perhaps you, like me, sometimes have issues that come up or buttons that get pushed, or when I am choosing to declare a new level of expression in my life, when I'm stepping into a greater expression of myself, I get, I would say that God works me, like Spirit, God, the universe works me, and I get wordless and uncomfortable, and I don't know what to say to people or how to react because I'm transforming. Something inside me is moving and shifting. It's kind of like the butterfly, right? And all of my world is falling apart. Like I went into the cocoon and all of the pieces of me start falling apart. And then I realize, wow, that's part of transformation, but it's certainly uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. And part of my work is to find a way to welcome that into my life. Part of my work is to find a way to welcome the breakdowns and see them as part of the breakthrough. There was a king, and he put a boulder in the middle of this street, and he watched to see what would happen. A lot of people came along the street and they would look at the boulder and then they would curse the king. Oh, that king, he never can keep track of taking care of his roads, and they would grumble and then they'd walk around the boulder. Or there'd be other people who would be like, who put this here? They're not thinking anything. They don't care about other people. And then they'd walk around the boulder. And there was this one guy who was carrying a big pack of vegetables. He had both of his shoulders were like filled with stuff, right? And he's kind of carrying it along there, and he sees the boulder. Now he could walk around, but he decides to put all of his stuff down and get and push the boulder. And he pushes and he pushes, and it takes him hours. But he finally moves the boulder off the street, so there's a clear path. And as he was going away, he noticed there was a purse in front of right where the boulder was. And so he goes and picks up the purse, and in it is a note from the king, along with several gold coins. And the note said that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder from that roadway. He learned something special that day. Every challenge is an opportunity to benefit ourselves. Every challenge that we're willing to take on is an opportunity for growth, prosperity, and to improve our condition in life. Where are you having challenges in your life? And are you willing to take them on as opportunities? Are you willing to see that beyond this challenge is a new transformed you, a greater expression of who you are? A lot of times people have financial challenges and they don't know what to do. I was watching this video from Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis the other day, and she said, there is never a lack of money, only a lack of ideas. There is an abundant universe. God, or the universe, or spirit, or Buddha, or whatever you consider as the ultimate creator, the words that you use as the ultimate creator of all, has created everything in abundance. Its nature is abundance. I watched this video about how we are compared to the universe, our visible universe. And it had kind of a little picture of the Earth, which is like this big, next to the sun, which is like this big. But then it had a picture of the sun, which was this big next to a superstar, which was this big. But then it had a picture of that superstar, which was this big, next to a giant superstar, which was like this big. And putting all of that into comparison with where the Earth was, it kind of seemed like we're a little tiny and insignificant. Or the infinite universe is so big and so vast that it's always abundant. There is so much of it we can't even comprehend. That's its nature. And recognizing that way on this little tiny planet is you and me creating the life of our dreams. That's what the possibility is. We can have an impact on the entire universe just by changing how we think about things. And the entire universe, God, the infinite one, created each and every one of us as a part of itself. Not only as a part of itself, we are it. We are showing up as the divine. Because it's everywhere present. There's no place like God is over there and you're here. Well, that would mean that there is God and something else. How could God ever be separate from something else, right? There's no separation between God or spirit or the universe and you and I. And if there's no separation between God and you and I, we are that expression of the divine. It's everywhere. It's in the air, right? It's in between us, but it's also me and you. And as that, we get this divine opportunity to show up as an individuated expression, like a facet on a diamond. Where the light is shining through the diamond and it comes through many different directions, it's the same light and the same diamond, but the different facets show it out differently. And that's how you and I are. We are each the facet of the divine expression. And as we're a facet of the divine expression, God, who can create the entire universe, this big, gigantic star, knows exactly how to create abundance in our life. We merely need to tap into the fact that it's already there, that we already have it, that we're already expressing it, which is simply a shift in how we view things. Sam Berns. Have you guys seen Sam Berns on YouTube? Sam Berns did a TED Talk. He's a 17-year-old child who has progeria. Progeria is a disease that attacks your protein cells, and he currently weighs about 50 pounds. He's a very tiny guy. He looks different than everybody else because of the way that the protein cells are in his body. It kind of pulls all of his skin to him. So he looks very odd, and he can't pick up very many things, weighing 50 pounds. He can't do a lot. And he's had this disease since he was born. He knows that he's very different looking and that he has a different world than everybody else. On this TED Talk, he talked about how he weighs 50 pounds, he's in high school, he's in band, and he wants to play the snare drums. The snare drums, if you're in band and you're a marching band, you have to put them on you, and they weigh about 40 pounds. So when you weigh 50 pounds, it's not really realistic. And to him, he decided that that wasn't going to stop him. It was an obstacle. It was something in his path that it looked like it was impossible for him to do. And he knew that there was a way out of no way. That's what the infinite gives us, that there's a possibility that there's a way out of no way. It could be possible, whatever we're thinking, that maybe there's another idea out there that we haven't even thought about that is a way out of your obstacle, out of your challenge. He did find a way. He found an engineer who managed to recreate the harness that goes on the snare drum so it weighs about 7 to 10 pounds, which made a very light snare drum, which made it possible for him to actually use this snare drum. He showed a picture in his TED Talk of him marching around with a marching band, and he's about this tall. He's a very small guy, but marching around with his snare drum in the marching band in formation, doing what he wanted to do. And he said that he's been interviewed on NPR. He's been all over the place. He said a lot of people ask him, what's it like to live with progeria? What's it like to have this disease every day that you wake up and everything is different for you than it is for most of everybody else in the entire world? He said he has a life theory, and it contains 3 things. One is he doesn't waste energy feeling sorry for himself. He shifts his attention elsewhere. He said, I could spend all of my days thinking about how difficult it is for me to live and how easy it is for everybody else to live. And what good would that do me? I'd be spending all my time whittling away, focusing my attention on this. Instead, he focuses attention on what is working. What does work for him? I was watching Mary Mann and Morrissey on, we're doing this class called Prosperity Plus. And she talks about how all of the stations on TV are existing at the same time, right? All of the TV channels are existing. Now, you could tune in to CNN. You could tune in to CNN, and you can find out about all the wars and all the challenges and all the different things that are going on in the world. You could tune into that. Or you could tune into the Discovery Channel or Animal Planet. Now, all of this is happening at the same time, but what is it that you want to tune into? How do you want to think in the world and align yourself with that? Because you have the choice. You can tune to whatever channel you want. You can be, I want to be on the negative station, or I want to be on the positive station, right? But it's your choice. It's not like you don't have the choice. You have the choice. What are you choosing? What are you choosing to tune into? His second point was he surrounds himself with people he wants to be with. He doesn't waste his time hanging out with people who are going to bring him down. He surrounds himself with people who bring him up, who lift him up, and who love him for who he is. Are there people in your life that maybe you need to clear out? Yes, that's right. Circulation table. I heard from a minister when I was in ministerial school that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. We're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who are you spending your time with? And do you want to be the average of that? If the answer is no, maybe it's time to look around, because there are some pretty spectacular people out there. And you can choose to create your own family. For those of you who have a family that may be a little bit dysfunctional or unhealthy, it's all right to choose your own family. It's all right to choose your own friends and find people around you who lift you up. The third thing he said was keep moving forward. Always have something to dream about. Always have something that you're looking ahead to. In the dictionary, to invest means to spend or devote for future advantage or benefit. Ask yourself, what am I investing? What do you want to invest in? I challenge you to invest in your own vision, to create a goal or a vision in your life that stretches you. What is your reason for being? What is something that you want to give your life energy to? How do you want to turn your existence into a meaningful life? What is your purpose? Create tasks for yourself that are something of value. For my life, I have a vision of the Global Heart Vision, which is something that we have in Centers for Spiritual Living, Global Heart Vision. I have a vision that this vision turns into reality during my life. It is a vision where we live in a world free from homelessness, that we stop the disenfranchisement, That there is not wars or separation anymore. That we celebrate the diversity. That we reach out to people and recognize that we're one human family. I totally think it's possible. And I know that the wars that are happening on this planet are the same wars that are happening inside myself. The things that I think about other people in the world are the things that I think about myself. And the way for me to step into that greater vision is to learn how to see myself in the light of divinity, to see myself as God's chosen one. And I'm not just saying I'm God's chosen one, I'm saying you're God's chosen one. You are the chosen one. You were chosen to incarnate here on this planet at this time because something special is happening. Something that has never happened before. And it is a new consciousness of this world expanding and evolving. And we are tasked to take on ourselves and to step into a new vision of a life that works for everyone. Which means I have to confront the people that are different than me. I have to learn how to work in a new way so I can embrace all of that differences, all of those differences, and bring it to myself and love everybody. And love myself with all of those differences inside, the same that I would love everybody else. Neil Donald Walsh asked the question, what is the secret to feeling worthy as I actually am? And he said that the secret is, dun dun dun, there's nothing you have to do. Nothing. There's nothing for you to be or do or have in order to express who you really are. In fact, you're here for the opposite purpose. You are not here to acquire, but to give. You are here to demonstrate and express the gifts that are inherent within you. If you wish to experience more wisdom in your life, your challenge is to demonstrate the wisdom you already have. If you desire more clarity in your life, your challenge is to demonstrate the clarity that you already have. Whatever you wish to experience more of, it's simply to do your best to demonstrate that you already have that in abundance. Which is why we're talking about gratitude this month. Because whatever you're grateful for, you're creating more things to be grateful for. Mary Manning Morrissey said there's 3 types of gratitude. 1, historic gratitude. For instance, I'm grateful I was born. I'm grateful that I met my wife. I'm grateful for all the extraordinary people who came into my life to help support me in starting this brilliant center. Those are historic things that happened in my life that I can be grateful for now. The second type is grateful in the moment. Roger Teal tells a story from our book of the month, This Life is Joy, about when he went to his first prom. He had taken this girl out to dinner, and they went to this fancy restaurant, very, very fancy. And he was so cool. He was a high schooler, and so he decided to order a steak because he figured the steak was manly. And he was really, really cool, kind of like, cutting his steak ever so smoothly and everything, until when he went like this, the knife slipped and the steak flew across the room. And in that moment, he thought he was going to die, of course. Fortunately, the maitre d' swooped in, grabbed the steak with his little thing he had over here, the towel, grabbed the steak with the towel, put it back here, walked over to the table, and he said, "Oh my God, what a terrible thing. I cannot believe the kitchen did this to you. They did not put your steak on a steak plate. I am so sorry, sir. Please forgive us." And he immediately took the plate and walked away. And he came back with a new steak on a different colored plate. And he said, "This is a steak plate, sir." And in that moment, he had an absolute overwhelming sense of gratitude. So much so that now, 40 years later, he thinks of this one man as an angel in his life. So being grateful in the moment can last forever. And the last thing is future gratitude. Cultivate gratitude for future events. The gratitudes for today are the manifestations of tomorrow, which can actually mean if you're grateful for an event that hasn't even happened yet, you can cause that event to come into existence just because you're grateful for it happening. So I challenge you to think about how God works, the infinite nature. God works through you. One is bless your challenges. Two is shift your mind by thinking everything and not feeling sorry for yourself. Shift your mind to something else. Three is to surround yourself with people you want to be with. Remember, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. 4 is keep moving forward. What is your vision? If you don't have one, create one. Invest in your vision. Invest in the collective vision here. 5, create gratitude for future events. 6, demonstrate what you seek to have by giving it away. Continue to give yourself away. Whatever you want more of, give it away. Want more wisdom? Give your wisdom away. You want more money? Give your money away. And the 7th message today is to be God's messenger. The Christian faith asks, what would Jesus do? I like to ask, what would love do? Or even just, what would God do? What would Buddha do? Or somebody who's your idol, who you think is a wise teacher, ask yourself, what would they do? And I'll trust you, the answer will be revealed because it's already within. Let's pray.